Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Varus updated complete guide, and today we're going to be taking a look at the on-hit build, which is by far the most popular build. You can see all the top players are pretty much building some kind of version of an on-hit build. And of course, this time there are a bunch of changes. But before we get into those, of course, don't forget to check out Varus's basic guide for some skills, leveling order tips and tricks, as well as some combos. But without further ado, let's jump straight into our items. So first item you want to go for is going to be the Gluttonous Greaves. Now Gluttonous Greaves of course gives you the AD and the Omnivamp. Of course it's going to be the pretty much the most useful rune that you can, most useful boots that you can get. No real point going for attack speed boots since all of your items give you attack speed anyway, and you also have lethal tempo, so no reason for that. Gluttonous Greaves is the way to go. So now one of the changes is Terminus is now going to be first item. Now Bork did just get buffed, but it's just not as good of an item anymore after it got so-called nerfed from the ruined version to the normal version. So Terminus is now a better first item. You get AD, you get attack speed, magic damage on hit, and of course you get the stacking armor and magic resist. You also get the stacking armor and magic pen. Just so much good stuff from just this one item. It is pretty expensive, but it's a pretty solid first item. Only then do you go into Bork, where of course Bork is going to give you again more attack speed, a little bit of AD. Physical Vamp, of course the most important part is the current health damage on hit, as well as the drain passive to steal movement speed and deal a burst of damage. And next up we have Wit's End. Now Wit's End is going to be really solid against especially teams that have magic damage. If there's no magic damage, you may want to skip this out, but some people go for it anyway just because it's a very cheap item, only 2700, and it gives you a lot of good stuff. Attack speed, magic damage on hit, and healing when you're below half health. And for the last two items, it is kind of variable, but I think these are the two better items. So Riftmaker is really good as a second last item. It gives you a lot of nice stats. Varus does skill with AP, just not as well as AD. And you also get, of course, the Omnivamp. And also you get the Void Corruption passive, which did recently kind of get nerfed in my opinion. But it still does a good amount of true damage, and it is still useful. Finally, we have Runan's Hurricane, which is going to, of course, allow you to attack 3 people at the same time. And this is going to be very useful for, of course, proccing your on-hit effects onto 3 people at the same time. Now, honestly, last item, a little bit late for Runan's Hurricane, but Runan's Hurricane is not really essential for Varus. Like, he's okay just attacking one guy at one time. It's just that when you are reached, like, late game, attacking 3 people at one time is going to be really good. But you do have some other options as well. So, of course, you have something like Bloodthirster to give you AD and more physical vamp. You also have something like Triforce, which is a really popular option. A lot of good stats and gives you the Spellblade passive. Of course, you can also go for defensive options like GA or like Maw if you really need to, as your last item options. Also, something like Sterex can work as well. And for the runes, you really have 2 options. So you have Lethal Tempo for the attack speed. Now, I think Lethal Tempo is very useful, especially in the earlier parts of the game, like in the first Dragon team fight, things like that, when you're only on like 0, 1 item, or 2 items. After you reach like 3 items, you have more than enough attack speed. Lethal Tempo is not really needed, but of course it's always just going to be useful. So sometimes you could go for Press the Attack as well. Press the Attack is also pretty good of a rune. Gives you a lot of laning power and is a lot more useful in the later game team fights, where you can proc it on people back to back after the cooldown refreshes. And it gives you more value throughout the game compared to Lethal Tempo. So it's a little bit of a preference one here. For the runes, Brutal, because of course we auto attack a ton being an on-hit build. Giant Slayer, I think, is still more useful here to shred tanks. Bloodline or Alacrity both work here because you do have a good amount of like healing on all your items, as well as a good amount of attack speed. So it's really your preference. And here I like to actually take Nimbus Cloak just to get an extra movement speed when I cast my summoner spells. And for the summoner spells, it's pretty much always going to be Ghost and Flash. Only in rare instances you want to take Exhaust if there's like a couple of assassins on the enemy team. But with all that said, now let's talk about our gameplay. Alright, so now moving on to the gameplay. Of course, as usual, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, or remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And of course, be sure to address them or drop a like. Okay, so now, getting into the gameplay. We just talked about Lethality Varus 2 days ago. Today we're going to be talking about on-hit Varus, which as we all know, if you did, now you do. On-hit is definitely the more popular build for Varus. A lot easier to execute as well, because technically speaking, if you don't want to use your Q and your E, of course you're losing a lot of value, but you can technically just auto-attack people only. Of course you do still want to proc your Blight with your Q or your E, and of course you still need to ult, things like that, but you're a lot less reliant on landing your Q or landing your E compared to like a lethality build, because this one you just need to pretty much auto attack people, you know, and yeah. So speaking of auto attacking people, Seraphine gets engaged on by Maokai. We auto attack her and she has to flash away in fear. Here we just try to get some attacks on them to kind of maintain our lethal tempo stacks. So here we actually still have lethal tempo stacked up, and this is very useful if a fight happens here, like what you see. We have kind of a mini skirmish happening in the lane. There's a little bit of trading here, pretty long trades. Is what we see here. We do get pushed in by the enemy bot lane. Of course, Seraphine and Xayah have a lot more wave control than Varus and Maokai, so this will be a little bit of a consistent trend. Now, I have said in the video I made 2 days ago that generally for on-hit Varus, generally a Enchanter is better than Engager. But as you guys can see, an Engager still has a lot of value because you can see that we are indeed able to get a kill because of the Maokai engage. And Maokai unfortunately gets engaged on himself by the Nunu who's just rolling by. There's a little bit of a low HP situation. I was a little bit afraid that the Nunu would come and dive me, but it looks like he is actually just going for the Skull Crab. So I'm back in a 1v1 against Xayah. I just want to clear the wave here, so I'm trying to use my spells on the wave to sort of push it out a little bit. Now Nunu is trying to invade my team, and we're going to rotate to help out. Nunu is forced to flash away, and I'm going just back here to retrieve my wave because yeah, I don't really want to overcommit to this fight when I have minions dying on the tower. That's not very ideal because I'm going to lose almost one entire wave. However, with all that said, we end up coming out of this with basically a kill, and we're able to back and pick up our boots. And we do have a small lead over Xayah because of that one kill. However, in terms of effective gold, she managed to get the boots as well, so I do have some unspent gold because it's not quite at the $500 amount yet that I can get a longsword. So we are actually on even power level. So here we are going to be hitting level 5 soon, but of course Xayah does have more solo XP because Seraphine died. So Xayah's the first hit level 5. Thankfully, Xayah's level 5 is not the most impactful in terms of she can't really use it offensively. It's generally used defensively if we engage on her, so it doesn't make too big of a difference. Yeah, so here we're now trying to hit level 5. I'm just getting a ward here to just ensure that we don't see the Nunu coming over when we are going for an engage. Hex Splash forward by the Maokai. Maokai unfortunately goes in when there's a million feathers on the ground, and yeah, just gets bursted down by the feathers from the Xayah and just instantly just dies basically, which is not really what we want to see from our support. So now we're stuck under the tower alone again, relatively low on mana. Our main goal here is just to clear out this wave and safely on the tower. We can see Nunu in our red side jungle, so we know he's not going to come and dive us. He is getting chased down by the Lee Sin though. And yeah, we get the wave, or the most of it, I guess you could say. And now we are going to reset and restore our mana mainly, but we are going to get the recurve bow component of the Terminus. Actually, honestly, I think we should have been getting the BF sword if we could afford it, because getting the AD in the early lane is more important than getting the attack speed. But in general, for on-hit builds, getting the attack speed first is generally better. Of course, not for Terminus, because getting the BF sword AD is just just really amazing, and that's kind of what we want. So here the enemy team gets baited by the control ward, and because of that basically gets engaged on by Maokai. We finish off the kill onto Seraphine. Xayah still has splash, so she is going to be able to get out. Nunu shows up to the party, knocks up the Maokai, and Ezreal ult comes in as well. I flash out and ghost out as well. Yeah, I really don't want to get rooted by the Maokai. Unfortunately, I have to pop both subs. Now Ezreal hopped over the wall with the exhaust as well. I can't really fight him because of the exhaust. I believe that without it, I actually may have been able to get him, but either way my team finishes off the kill because he's so badly out of position there just to kill me. So I think it's a fine trade in the grand scheme of things. Both teams are relatively even all across the board. Of course, we do have some advantages here and there, but it's really minor. Like me and Xayah are on level terms. Maokai and Seraphine basically on level terms. Small lead for Lux over Ezreal. Also a decent sized lead for Nunu over Lee Sin. And also a decent sized lead for Shen over Nasus. But no one is like leading their lane opponent by 1k or anything like that. So it's still relatively even of a game state, all things considered. So here, objectives have spawned, and we have the the turret as well as the Ocean Dragon. Maokai and Lee Sin hiding in the bush here, gets knocked out by the Nunu. However, I'm able to land an arrow onto Seraphine as Maokai engages, and they do get a good amount of damage. I eat another Ezreal ult just as I'm walking through, and yeah, that's not really good. I'm gonna ult the Nunu because he's the first target. He's also the jungler. I managed to actually hit the Xayah and kill the Xayah instead of the Nunu, which was honestly not my intention, but hey, you know what? I'll take it. Nunu's coming back in with the snowball again. Consumes a minion for the HP. And yeah, not too much I can really do here. I'm pretty low on HP. Maokai protecting this bush against the Ezreal who might come. Ezreal does indeed come. It is a little bit sticky of a situation because I'm pretty low, but I'm able to basically just walk away and finish off the Ezreal with the range. And yeah, he does end up going down. Also, it's an Ezreal mid. Not Ezreal ADC, but it's Ezreal mid, and he looks like he's building normally, as in he's not building AP, he's building AD Ezreal. So a little bit of a heavy AD team comp on the enemy side, with the exception of the Seraphine, who clearly looks like she's going for some kind of damage with that Prophet's Pendant. And here we now have our first item, the Terminus. Xayah doesn't yet have her first item. Looks like she's going for Essence Reaver as her first item based on the components, but that's kind of a horrible item for most champions, to be honest. I think the only champion that actually builds Essence Reaver is actually Varus. Maybe MF could use Essence Reaver, but not that good anymore after the rework. But pretty much it's only Varus that really makes good use of Essence Reaver. Even Lucian doesn't build Essence Reaver anymore. Ezreal runs straight into me. I ult him down. Full charge here. He eats over the wall, right into the waiting arms of Maokai, and we get rid of him over the wall with a final auto attack. Now Xayah getting chased down by the Maokai root. Maokai engages. Xayah pops the ulti. Seraphine gets hit by the root though. Here I'm trying to fight them 1v2. I flash forward to go for the Xayah. I actually get her. Seraphine ulti comes, not ulti. Seraphine electrocute comes in on me. Not too big of a deal. Here I'm trying to go for Seraphine. But I'm not sure if any enemies rotate. I can see the Nunu mid, and it's really hard to dive her. I do think that if Maokai and I dive her, I do think we can actually kill and both get out. So probably it's a little bit of a mistake here to back off when we probably should have been a little bit more aggressive here. But we just take the safe way out, and we're going to pick up the recurve bow, which again, the attack speed component first for on-hit builds generally is better than the AD part of the build. So we get the attack speed component first for Bork. And Maokai here flashing in onto the Xayah. Xayah is getting jumped on by everyone. But a nice Seraphine ult defensively causes Maokai to be really low. The Shen ult comes in to save Maokai. Maokai now 1 HP. I'm 1 HP as well. And in comes the Nunu for the kill onto me. Nunu goes on a rampage 5-0. I go down. And Ezreal now jumps in, kills the Maokai as well, and Shen is the last man standing on our team. Of course, Lux is alive as well, but she wasn't in the fight to begin with. And now Shen is under the tower. Enemy team is coming for that tower, and Shen has to kind of back away as the enemy team goes for the tower and gets it as well. Now we are back up. So we are going to go ahead and grab that minion wave that has pushed in. Nasus is kind of becoming a little bit of a problem because he's just been free farming our turrets and the plates that come along with it. So if you take a look at the goal, Nasus has over 8k gold, and the 5-0 Nunu has just slightly more gold than Nasus. So Nasus has almost 5 kills worth of gold just from getting towers, which obviously tells you that minions and towers are really good sources of gold. It's not just kills that you have to, care about, which I think most people would know by now. But yeah, so fight looks like it's going to break out in the mid lane. I'm just quickly rotating over to see if I can help out my team. By the time I reach the fight, it's pretty much over at this point. So I'm just going to walk away instead. And here Ezreal trying to avoid my arrow does so successfully. Seraphine is here as well. Maokai is going in with the ulti. However, they're all stuck under the tower, so not a really good time to engage while they're there. Maokai, very nice W to avoid the Nunu snowball. And Nunu is now in pretty deep. Nunu gets his ult interrupted. I get chain CC'd here, but thankfully I'm able to kite back. I'm free hitting onto the Nasus to kind of stack up my wheel tempo. I get a huge arrow across like 3 to 4 people. huge root comes in from the Lux. I flash forward to finish off the Xayah. Lux picks up the kill. And the tower is really, really low. However, I'm out of mana, so I don't really want to continue the fight. Nunu coming in with a snowball. I'm going to walk out of the way and just recall at a safer, relatively safer position compared to where I was. So now we reset, just picking up the Bork components here. And now we're rotating for the dragon. Now Nasus is on top of me, and you can see he's like almost one-shotting me at this point. He just bonks me, and thankfully my entire team is there to back me up. And because of that, I'm actually able to survive. Nearly died like to 2 hits from Nasus right there. And here, obviously the fight is breaking out. I'm just trying to hit my arrow, but it's not really that useful because again I'm playing on hit, not lethality. So the arrow is not going to hurt as much because I don't really have that much AD compared to the on-hit build. Now the enemy team is trying to do the dragon. We're just trying to zone them off of the dragon. Lee Sin's coming back from the base. Nunu is getting engaged upon, and so is I believe Seraphine. I here just get bursted because he got hit by the Seraphine out again. So yeah, I end up dying. Alright, there Lee Sin goes in for the steal, and actually gets the steal. Tries something fancy, hops over the wall with the W. And I'm not sure what he's actually trying to do here. He tries to recall, but gets spotted by Nasus. Blast cones back over, and then jumps back over again. I'm not sure why, and then kicks Nasus away. I'm getting confused here. Qs to the minion, and now is tagged by Nunu's smite under the tower. Eventually does die, but a lot of fancy footwork by the Lee Sin there to try his best to get out of a sticky situation. Doesn't quite pay off in the end, but I respect the effort that he put in to try to get away there. Huge minion wave over here, so I'm just trying to clear out the minion wave. Ezreal, we all know he's in that bush, so he gets his recall interrupted. Nasus and Xayah are way deep into our territory. Both of them get rooted. Here I'm just ulting the Nasus, making sure I'm out of range of the Xayah pull. And here I'm just free hitting onto the Nasus while Lux is, busy, nearly dying, which I was a victim of that just now. Xayah now dies to the Shen, and only Nunu is left alive on the enemy team. We're trying to go for this mid lane tower that is now at this point pretty low, and is basically free for us at this point, having killed basically all of the enemies. So we get that mid lane tower, and at this point we now have 2 items. We have both the Bork as well as the Terminus. We're getting there in terms of our on hit. Here we're starting off the Baron. I think it's a little bit risky because the enemy team is all like starting to respawn. Nunu is snowballing in. I'm hitting the Baron from over the wall, so I'm pretty safe. But here we need to catch out Nunu, which is exactly what we're doing. I'm just free hitting on him. And nice kick by Lee Sin. We're going to go for the ulti here. We finish off the Nunu for a 900 gold shutdown. We get the Seraphine as well, and now Nasus is the next target. Ezra and Xayah are behind him, kind of free hitting. But Xayah gets caught. I get a triple kill here. Could have been a possible penta if I actually got the remaining kills here. I actually switched focus from Nasus to Ezreal for a second because Ezreal is higher priority. But eventually our team is able to finish off both of them. And yeah, so actually honestly right here we could have maybe turned back to the Baron, but Maokai and Lux are pretty low. Lee Sin's also less than half HP. So we decided it's a little bit too risky to go for the Baron right here. So instead we're going to recall. You can see a huge recall. I get both Wits and QSS on the same back. So QSS is really helpful to QSS like the Wither, Seraphine's Kit, Xayah's Pull, and even Nunu's Snowball. If you can see it coming, you can actually time the QSS to immune yourself to the knockup of that Snowball. Now Lee Sin goes in, kicks the Seraphine. Maokai stuck on 1 HP. I'm trying to back my team up. Maokai is baiting the Nunu in. I'm able to ult the Nunu and save my Maokai's life, but not too much really happens after that because obviously Maokai a little bit too low on health to really do very much here. It does restore a ton of health from the fruits though, and now my team is resetting, so I want to be relatively safe. I don't want to go onto that mid wave because as you can see here, if I did, that Nunu and Ezreal might have caught me out. Now here Nunu gets caught up by a full Lux combo, but he's a tanky boy and doesn't actually go down. He doesn't even have magic resist. He has a full armor build at the moment, and Lux wasn't even able to kill him. So you can only imagine it's harder for me because I do physical damage for the most part. Of course, I do have some on-hit magic damage as well, but I do physical damage for the most part, so it's going to be a little bit difficult for me. I do, however, have the Bork, and he does have a ton of HP, so that could help. So here, my team is trying to make a play on the Nasus, but Ezreal Ult pretty much spots us out. So this is it. I don't know if this will be a successful play. Maokai is going the long way around, cutting off the the Nasus completely. And here Nasus now realizes he's caught, chooses to stand and fight, which is the correct play to do. I'm popping the Ghost to get a little bit closer. Now Nasus is completely zoning me from the back line of the fight. So I'm just focusing him now. Maokai is, not Maokai. Nunu's onto me. I actually popped the QSS to ensure I don't get rooted by him. Seraphine is in the front line for some reason, and here Nunu is coming back in. My Shen and Lee Sin are already dead, so it's up to the rest of us. I have a full stack Lethal Temple here, trying to kill. I end up going for the backline champions. I actually get a couple of them, and I actually eventually get 3 of them, while my team handles the rest of them, and we are able to get an ace here. Really aggressive play by me. It could have gone really wrong. But we do end up getting all of the enemy team for the cost of 2, so really good deal right there. Here the entire enemy team is all respawning at about the same time, which basically means that we have free reign on the map for the next 15 or so seconds. So here we're going to go ahead and grab this inhib. Obviously grabbing an inhib, really important. Now my whole team is pinging to do dragon, but yes, this is going to be Dragon Soul for us, but I honestly think that it's way more important to get an inhib than to get the Dragon Soul. Like, I would trade Dragon Soul for inhib any day of the week, but it looks like my team has it covered. They are going for the dragon. My back gets interrupted as my team claims the Ocean Soul. Here, since I've already got my back interrupted, I'm not going to back again at the same spot lest I get caught up by the enemy team. Instead, I'm going to go rotate to mid, clear out that wave right there, and then we're going to recall after. Now we get the Riftmaker. As you guys know, I like Riftmaker as an item. Gives you the Omnivamp, gives you the true damage. Amazing item overall, except that it's normally limited to AP champions and ADCs normally can't build it. Of course, Varus is one of those that actually can build it. Here my team is obviously picking a fight with the enemy team. I'm trying to see what I can do. Now Nasus here goes ham on my team for no reason, when his team is not really around to back him up. So here you can see he basically dies before his team can even do anything, which is totally int. And now Nunu has to run away because he can't really do anything against us. Now Lee Sin goes, Maokai goes in, and here we're able to catch out Nunu. Nunu is getting chain CC, can't really move, and we're eventually able to kill him. Now Seraphine, yeah, she's not going to survive my damage as well. I go legendary, and the enemy team is in a pickle right now because only Ezreal and Xayah are left alive. Now, unfortunately, our wave is really slow to come, so instead I'm pinging to do the Elder Dragon because all of us are up, Nunu is down, only Xayah and Ezreal are left alive. The only thing that could really go wrong is if a Ezreal ult steals it, in which case it will be clear that Lee Sin is a horrible smiter, but it kind of would be what it would be. So here Shen is zoning up anyone who dares to come. Xayah's not even trying. The Ezreal almost gets the steal. I actually thought that we lost the dragon there, but we did get it. And here another's going to finish off this wave. Then we can reset and see what we can get. I don't think we can really get the Runan's Hurricane, so I don't think we're actually going to do it because no real point in backing when you can't secure the item anyway. Right, so here we just, auto attack all the minions. Nasus again gets caught, gets kicked in by Lee Sin. We have Elder, and he's gonna go down. Here I get just whacked by the enemy team. QSS after everything, which there really is no point anymore. I pick up a double, and I'm going on to the Nunu. Nunu gets ulted. I'm trying to run him down, which we do. Xayah's now 1 HP. I flash forward to finish her off. And only Ezreal's left, so the game's pretty much over at this point. I'm just going to put a ward in the base so we can see the Ezreal, and then we are going to just push in this bottom lane, and this wave is going to be enough. I don't know who's pinging for Baron, but that guy is trolling because we don't actually need Baron to end the game. We can just end the game right now. And Lee Sin is still busy farming his jungle, by the way, going for the red buff, and I'm not sure where he's going now, but the rest of us are going to end the game. And Ezreal gets caught, so we're going to quickly finish him off before we end the game, and there we have it. So we'll leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and bye.